This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight now, we bring you a discussion on Global Millets Conference, Shri for Food and Nutritional Security. The participants are Nilay Ranjan, agriculture expert, and Lalima Aneja Dang, AIR correspondent.
2023 is a year which has been declared as the International Year of Millets by the United Nations after persistent efforts by India. For 2 days, we had a Global Millets Conference which was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister. The Honorable Prime Minister has the millets issue as very close to his heart. He has recoined it as Shri Anna. Just as we say Shri Phalam to coconut because it is used in many rituals, now we have renamed our millets program as Shri Anna program, if we may say so. Now we're going to be talking to Mr. Nilay Ranjan, and he's an agricultural expert on millets. Welcome, sir, to All India Radio. I'm Lalima Aneja Dang this side.
Thank you.
So what was the pressing need of declaring 2023 as the International Year of Millets? We know that millets is a hardy crop. We know that India is the largest producer of millets. We also know that they're full of nutrition. What else?
Yeah, see, there's three things. India, you must say the rain-fed agriculture. And before the whole agriculture revolution, the millet was the main crop. Total 40% of the production was the millet. And that's a staple food for the most of the people in the rural areas.
Right.
Gradually, with the new demand, the crop pattern changed and the millet came backward. In terms of nutrition value and the health, in terms of magnesium, calcium, everything which is more or less now there's a deficit among the children, especially in rural areas, the nutrition. This happened because those are nutritional foods consumption has decreased drastically. So once people look at 10 years back when the Prime Minister said malnutrition is important and we have to fight with that, if you do this, the millet as an important component and start focusing on that production and the consumption, it will improve both. First, it will improve the income of the small farmers because most of the millet growers are in the dry zone, which has lesser water, lesser rain, and that's why the millet doesn't require much investment, but it's staple food for them. But at the same time, this also gives a nutritional value to them. Those children who are small farmers, their children are more nutrition deficit. So once they start consuming it, it will help in terms of improving the nutrition level. Right now, 5 years back, I have a data that the total consumption of the per household of this millet was 2 kg to 1 kg. So they produce less, they consume less. Now, in the last 5 years, the whole consumption pattern changed. Per family, the consumption is around 15 to 16 kg, which is 1 to 2 kg.
Yes, that's so wonderful.
Drastically changed that. And actually it helps in terms of nutrition level of the children. Most of the malnutrition will go down. You start consuming it. And the FAO and other organizations already has said that if there is a different laddu made of this millet, if they used by the mother, pregnant woman and the child, it will help most of the mother-child related health issues. This is one of the important components here. The Prime Minister focused on that millet as the international component. And all the country where the poor farmers there, whether Africa, India, the production of the millet is high and good that Prime Minister reiterated that bringing global people at India and making the India commitment for the millet, it helps both of them.
Right. You talked about farmers. Indeed, we have about 2.5 crore farmers who are growing millets at the moment, and usually they have a very small land holding. So if, as you rightly said, if we produce more, we consume more. We consume more, more will be produced. And the best thing about millets is they don't need much water. They don't need artificial chemicals. They grow very easily. There's not much effort involved in it. They grow in hardy conditions. Knowing about what's going to happen in climate change sector in the coming years, we know that there is going to be paucity of water. So it's just the right crop we have stressed upon, or the Honorable Prime Minister has stressed upon. He's a visionary leader and he sees that millets being the food for future and the present would be a win-win for everybody. The soil, the people, the climate change, adjustment and so on. And the farmer, of course. So when we talk about millets, we talk about, or Shri Anna, as the Prime Minister has renamed it. We talk about jowar, bajra, ragi, sama, kangani, china, kodon, kutki and kuttu. I think we could go back a generation ago where our grandmother's parents would cook these things. Somewhere along the way, when Green Revolution happened, the biodiversity vanished and we got stuck to just wheat and paddy. How do you think we can bring back this millet movement? What are the ways in which we can bring back and change the food habits, especially of children and families?
There's three ways. One thing, higher production led to the higher consumption. Automatically the consumption will be high in the rural area. The same time, if you start, which the Prime Minister also says that in the address, if you start refocusing on the nutrition value of these produce, automatically the urban areas also start using that. And the whole the cost will increase. The whole economy of the way you market that, the nutrition value, and people are more health conscious.
Yes.
So that way, the consumption will go up. So once you start valuing it as one of the nutrition components, as a health product, the consumption will increase. And second part, the government also last 5 years increased the MSP for this produce. So the support for the small farmer is there. If you grow, there is a buyer. And the government is increasing the support price gradually.
The MSP for millets, you mean? Right.
Correct.
All the millets, sir?
More or less, mostly.
Okay.
Ragi, jowar, bajra, all the millets, MSP is there. And MSP, we see that it's increased around 40% in the last 5 years. So that support is there with the farmer. At the same time, if the market starts engaging and consuming more, the consumption will increase. Automatically, the demand go up and the production will increase.
So we had an international year of quinoa once, and we found that it had a boom and bust syndrome, where it went high and then it just kind of petered out. How do we ensure that millets doesn't become a boom and bust syndrome? We are talking about it, we are working for it. How do we make it a sustainable mission?
See, it is already sustainable. 40% of the consumption before the 1960, it was a millet. So it's staple food. In the tribal areas, it's staple food. It's staple food, ragi and bajra.
Yes.
If you go to any Gujarat, Maharashtra, rural areas, still there is bajra roti.
Right.
So the pattern is there. It is not like people are not using it. And the new thing which is introduced there for the rocket science. Only thing is refocusing on that. It is important. And whatever you are eating from the rice or the wheat, you can also do the traditional food which you are using for a long period. So the food habit is not about change. It is giving a priority. So what they produce wheat, they consuming wheat. The bajra, small farmer anywhere doing it. The little bit middle farmer also start using it because once they see the nutrition value of that. And easy to do that because traditionally each household in the rural areas, there is a grandma who used the ragi roti. And is using that.
Absolutely. Ragi laddus, ragi roti. Right. They would put ragi in dosa and idli. So many preparations out of the millets, but we never kind of recognized them. We never acknowledged them. We kind of, we just moved on to paddy and wheat and just forgot this beautiful food called millets. Sir, there is one issue which is, if I may play the devil's advocate, whatever becomes a superfood, in the urban areas the prices go up, but how do we ensure that the farmers get the right price? The same product, if you buy it raw from the farmer, it costs less. But the moment it is processed, it becomes a noodle, it becomes a namkeen, it becomes a biscuit, the prices shoot up. But how do we ensure that the farmer at the base level gets a good price for the millets he's growing, apart from the MSP that you talked about?
See, there are two things. One, the demand is increased in the urban areas. Like, if you look at most of the South Indian states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, their food has all the components already. So like ragi dosa, ragi idli.
Yes.
All these are part of the urban cuisine also. So once it is increased more, automatically the trickle down go to the farmer. Other farmer not get right price, will not fit the cultivation. For production, you have to fit the cultivation or the duration of the cultivation. So that the price have to go trickle down. And second way, the government also the new e-portal where the farmer directly can sell the produce help in terms of giving right price here. So middleman, which was traditionally was a part of the whole system, but a new technology and new way of information flow from urban areas to rural areas about market prices, the things are changing. But with the government or without the government also, the whole patterns of the information is flow. It is moving very fast. And the government help in terms of insecurity of the certain portals, the agriculture ministry, where the buyer and seller can come at one platform and sell that. It will improve the price and also the direct income to the farmer.
Yes, that's right. The Honorable Prime Minister also unveiled a commemorative stamp and a commemorative coin at the Global Millets Conference, sir. How do you view the future of the millets as we are talking about the fact that they are great nutraceuticals, they provide a lot of nutrition? How do we ensure that it reaches every household in, as you said, rural area, yes, it exists, and in the urban areas as well?
Gradually, with the more information, but the more the commitment of the top leaders and also the health, nutrition, doctor, hospital, if they start using in their own prescriptions, that will have to go to each household. Because most of the nutritionist values, information flow from the doctor, practitioner. And second thing, now the Prime Minister also reiterated about getting a scientific center where the more research, more hybrid model can become. its production will also increase. Automatically the consumption will increase. And third thing, as we all have to create awareness about those foods, because if you look 50 years back, our grandfather, our uncle, they're very healthy because this food actually has a nutrition value.
Yes.
So to go back to those food habits, those cuisines, and adopt it faster, because that's already time tested. You don't have to look for the scientific result.
Absolutely.
Just a nostalgic. Go back to 50 years back to our grandfather was so healthy and there's no health issue.
Absolutely. We never heard of diabetes earlier. We never heard of all these things which are happening now. And we know of Dr. Khadar Wali, who's been working very hard on millets and even, getting down to diseases. He's helping recover people from many diseases with the help of millets. So we are now the world's largest millet producer. What are the export opportunities you see that we are now positioning millet as a wonder food to the world? And we are also working a lot in terms of processing. We know that the Indian Institute of Millets Research, ICR, has been termed as a global center of excellence. So once we position millets as a superfood and we are the world's largest producer, are we poised for higher exports? Is there a demand abroad now?
It will increase gradually. Once the UN has given a commitment as a UN Millet Day, it is also give a commitment that it is a produce which has a lot of nutrition value. So automatically the global demand will go. And the major producer of the millet is Africa and India. And those are hard climates, so it will grow that. And due to the climate change, uneven rain, the traditional crop has an effect on the crop cycle. Every year the whole wheat cycle has the collapse in Brazil. So it's going to affect that. And that time, this is the savior because it has a more climate resilient, low input cost, and you can produce easily. So once the crisis happen, because the number of the natural disasters is going increasing, this is a food where the export will be true and automatically the demand will also increase because you don't have to substitute for that. So the Prime Minister is visionary because I think you know that food insecurity is going to be increased and this is the area where you can supplement that. So that's why the whole demand is going to be increased.
Yes, and the fact that millets can be grown in drought-prone environments, even with poor soil, even in temperature up to 50 degrees, it's quite a boon even for the small farmer, as we were just talking about. And indeed, it's going to be a win-win for everybody. It's win-win for the consumer, win-win for the farmer. The consumer has a wide choice, has a cheap but nutritionally rich food he has at his disposal. I believe Karnataka is one of the largest producing state in India as far as millets are concerned. How do we ensure that North India gets down to greater production, higher production of millets?
See, in India, 212 districts are the major producer of the millet and it's covered in 14 states. And majorly Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan are the millet producing states. And as you know that these are the high temperature, so the dry zone.
Yes.
In the low zone also, because now this weather has changing. So in the UP, Bihar, which is a rain-fed agriculture near to the Ganga also, has a very dry zone.
Yes.
So those farmers also has a very relevant temperature for going for the millet during those times. Otherwise they lose the crop.
Right.
So nothing to do that. So we can give that advisory to those farmers. Even there is a deficit of rain, that time you start using the millet because you get some production and you don't lose everything due to change in the climate. So that can be one of the area where you focus on that, creating awareness among the farmer. If the climate change and if the temperature is high, you start millet rather than going for the traditional food where the chances for loss is high.
Right. That's very enlightening. Yes, we can tap the farmer who's working in the dry zones in North India and ask him to grow millets. Well, we went to the exhibition which is happening in Delhi, the global conference. We even saw millet milk there. I mean, it's unthinkable, but it's happening. So great change happening with millets, good for consumer, good for the farmer, and it's good nutrition for everybody. Thank you very much, Mr. Nilaranjan, for talking to us at All India Radio.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Global Millets Conference, Shri for Food and Nutritional Security. The participants were Nilaranjan, Agriculture Expert, and Lalima Aneja Dang, AIR Correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.